this is the work that the developers are doing. And the nice thing when you use DAOs is that you can connect to your DAO using you have to select the network here. Maybe it's your mainnet, and then the DAO type. We support right now a few DAO types: Argon, DAO House, DAO Stack, and Haifa DHO. So suppose you have a DAO on DAO House. Let me open a simple DAO here that I have ready. So let me switch to another one that's better for a demo. So we have this one, and we have, see if we have proposals. We have a bunch of proposals. So if I, well, some of them are in Portuguese, but anyway, so if I copy the address here, this DAO is on the Polygon network. I'm not sure if we can scrape DAOs on the Polygon network. So I just copy the DAO address here and save. Just to save, I just move to another page. And then after 1 minute, the scraper will be scraping the proposals here. So for a DAO, I can have a proposal to spend the DAO funds. So suppose I have a proposal to fund the development of some project. I will have the proposal popping up here. And then I can allocate this proposal to the project that has been created in the development subcircle here. So maybe I can allocate that to the circle as a circle budget, or I can allocate that to the project. So yeah, I know I'm taking too long, and I wanted to have space for questions. So if anyone wants to come with questions until now, I know there has been quite a lot.
I'm curious on your roadmap, or like what are things like up next kind of. It's super cool. For what I saw, I came in a little bit late, but curious of the cutting edge type stuff you guys are working on.
Yeah, so there has been some, one of the fronts is DAO integration. So we are working to improve the DAO integration to allow like MetaMask sign-in. So you can connect your wallet and even maybe see how many tokens are allocated for each of the proposals. And eventually, we also want to be able to create proposals straight from Nestr, so you can interface with the DAO from Nestr. And so this is on the DAO front, but also on the rest of the functionality, we are adding many more collaboration functions to Nestr. So, because right now Nestr allows you to do project management and managing your structure. So you can see the roles, the circles, and then you can bridge those with meetings. You can also run meetings on Nestr. So you can run a circle meeting. And then when I say circle meeting, you can create agenda items for the meetings and process these agenda items. So suppose I have an agenda item. So maybe I want a new website. So this is my agenda item. And then with this agenda item, when it's processed, I'll be creating a new project for the new website, you know. So this is how Nestr connects the two fronts. So the upcoming features regarding collaborations, we visualize the possibility to behave almost like a social network. So you can follow the work that other people are doing. You can follow other workspaces, and you can also, one of the other issues, possibilities is to add badges to yourself and to others. So you can really see what everyone is good at. So, and there is even a possibility to have a job board, like, so you have roles that are unfilled and you can advertise those roles so other people know that you are looking for skilled people on those roles. So yeah, so these are the broader or horizon features that we see coming.
Amazing, thank you.
I see there is a question on chat from Julio. If we know Wico. No, I never heard about that. Is that another tool? You want to talk something about that, or compare, or bring some? What is your experience with Wico, Julio? Oh, thank you. Oh, okay, no problem. You can speak.
Looks like a really nice tool. I don't have any questions, but usually what I think that we find the problem is that, well, there are lots of tools out there, but I think that we're missing like facilitators and people that know how to use those tools and help the communities to use them and manage them. So I don't know if you have any thoughts around that, or any future for training or things like that.
Yes, thank you, Hadar. That's really a very important part of using the tool. Is, of course, knowing how to use the tool, and facilitation is key for that. And so we are now starting a community Discord, and there's going to be a session there for matchmaking, for facilitators looking for work and people needing facilitators, and then even maybe some facilitator training sessions happening. Well, we do have a training session, training material on Nestr, the help website, but we do intend to have facilitators helping one another to learn the tool and to share experiences with each other, so we can have like a belt of facilitators that can support
There's
projects.
also an event on the 25th, right? Also to focus on cross-pollination between people that are using the tools. And so they can exchange experiences, and yeah, basically that. And also we are focusing on hiring many people on community weaving and facilitation, so we can have the support on explaining not exactly how you use specifically, but how you can use the tool, because there are many ways you can explore.
So what event did you mention, and how would we, or where should I follow you or keep in touch regarding all your progress regarding facilitation and so on?
Yeah, it's called the first Nestr community gathering event. So because we kind of relaunched Nestr this year, so it was, the tool is kind of old. It was first released in 2015, I guess, and then it went through many stages. It was acquired by a Chinese company, and then the direction changed a bit. But this year we are releasing again with this focus on DAOs and collaboration and using the Nestr name again. So, so this event is to celebrate that we are reaching a new level of daily users, and so the user base is expanding very much, and we want to celebrate that and to talk about the new features, new possibilities. And so this event is a 2.5 hours event taking place on November 25th. So we can drop the link to this form to subscribe to the event. Oh, Diana already pasted the link. So yeah, I'm not sure it's going to be in the CET time zone, starting at 11 CET. So not sure if that's good time for your time zone, but
what is it in GMT or UTC? I always have
Yeah,
times translating time zones.
yeah. In UTC, it's going to be on. Hold on, let me check. CT in UTC. Yeah, in UTC it's at 10 a.m. UTC. So on the 25th. Oh, you're muted, Hadar.
Yeah, I said not bad. I'm a night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be an event focused on presenting the features and also a Q&A session, and then the community showcase where we have some people in the community showing how they are using Nestr to inspire other people, and then there may be even a draw at the end in some offerings. Who knows? We want to make it fun. So yeah, thank you for listening. And if anyone has other questions about the tool or about holacracy or about DAOs or anything, or wants to share experiences as well, feel free. Anyone?
What are some complementary tools, or are there, you know, I'll probably learn a lot on that event, but, you know, things that work well, or, you know, your current users are using as well, just complement the entire ecosystem?
Yeah, so the other tool that most people use is, well, if there is a DAO, you'll be using the DAO website as well, of course. And the other thing that we still don't have very well is the documentation part. So maybe you'll be using Notion for documentation, or a Google Drive. Some of our users use Google Drive and then link the files on some of the objects on Nestr. So yeah, but in general, the great thing about Nestr is that you can do most of the things inside Nestr. So it becomes like a central place for alignment and agreements. But sometimes we also use Discord. And yes, actually there is a Discord bot for Nestr. So you can link what you're doing on Nestr in Discord. So you can mention people, you can see the roles and search circles and projects. So there is some support for linking your Discord server to Nestr. And so basically we want to integrate with other tools as well as we grow and more people coming.
Is there an
So
open API or a webhook or anything that you guys make available?
yes, there's an API that's a REST-based API that you can do some things like searching and adding projects and roles and do the basic interactions. And yeah, so you can do some sorts of automation if you have some skills with APIs. So you can connect to other tools, and actually the API is being used to connect to the DAOs. So we have a bot that's living outside of Nestr that's scraping the DAOs and adding the proposals into Nestr with these APIs. So
Nice.
it's a very powerful API. Yeah, Deanna, thank you for sharing the URL for the tool if you're curious. Yeah, we really hope that this will help assist DAOs into having more structured agreements, and so that the work can be, because one of the gravest issues with DAOs is accountability and also tracking projects to see, okay, now the funding is done, yay, we got the vote to pass, but then is it going to be delivered, or who is doing that and when, or what is the status? No one knows. So due diligence is very hard on regular DAOs if you don't use other tools. So and then Nestr becomes an option for this kind of tracking of work and who's contributing on which areas. So yeah, it's the proposal for this tool. Of course, it doesn't work only for DAOs, but with DAOs you have these extra features for linking and managing even your funds on Nestr, or visualizing the chunks that have been approved on the DAO, so you can link them. Any other question or comment? Oh, there's a question with Christopher. Which is this? This is what Safari DAO is trying to do?
I'm trying to work out. No, I was talking to. Sorry, I can't work out whether or not this chat is everyone in the entire space. Because to me, there's no. It's got one chat, which I think is from 4 different rooms now, and I don't actually know what's happening. But thank you for answering my question. So is Nestr DAO? Sorry, Nestr. I know Nestr is a very well-known. Aren't they a funding body? Nestr, is that just the UK? Nestr is a huge funding body, right?
Maybe there is another Nestr, but the one that I'm talking about is about a tool for self-organization in DAOs. So you can create your own workspace, and then from there you visualize the circles and the roles and the projects. So,
is there a picture of it somewhere?
Yes, I was sharing my screen here. Let me see if I can. So this is the tool. So you can see here's an example organization, and you see the circles, like you have a development circle.
Oh right,
roles,
blah blah. Yeah, I know the guy that built that. Chris, what's his name? Chris something or other. Yeah, like 20 years ago. I mean, yeah, it was really good. Really, what's his name? Chris. I can't remember. His middle name is like his Bliss, but I can't remember what it is. Okay, yeah. So go on. So all right. Sorry, I'm not just sort of waffling. I'm not really trying to go anywhere.
Sure, no problem. If you have any other questions, feel free to share, or you want to share your experience as well with Holacracy and DAOs, or wherever you want.
So, I mean, just to throw something out there, I think in super general, as human beings, and this has changed very fast in the last 100 years, and really folk community and even media community hasn't really caught up with it. People are not trained to communicate. Usually people were trained to communicate in a tiny sphere, which would be their village, where their entire neuroscience and psychology is designed to help them integrate. And that is simply not true. And we anymore, it's super, and it's, you know, I love the internet, like, and I love I love it. I love aeroplanes and, but so we set up a business in Scandinavia, right? Working out of Sweden, Finland, and we ran it. It was a conference event, and you would have maximum 60 people, all 3 attendees, but they were all CIOs, decision makers of Nokia, right? Like, there was no estate, there was no stands, there was no marketing. There was just like 60 CIOs in a room discussing with each other like cloud security and making, And what it became very clear, because we ran the event, so having listened to all these people really discuss issues that they didn't know the answer to, which is the biggest thing, right? Like, most people will tell you they have a solution to a problem. These people were they were like, yeah, we don't know how to do cloud security. We don't know how to do complex outsourcing. Like, nobody knows how to make it work predictably. And the biggest thing it turned out from that, and loads of other spaces, is that nobody's trained to communicate. Like, they're just not. And it's sort of assumed that you can magically be ace at communicating because you've got that. And it's like, yeah, not really, especially in the tech space. like 25 years ago, you didn't even need to communicate to be in tech, because all tech was about was supporting the goals of the business, right? All tech just made the existing goals work. Now it's like tech is the goal. Not all the time, but yeah. So you're like, your tech is now about market analysis. It's about customer satisfaction. But that's not what it used to be. It used to be like database management and software upgrades. You know?
Yeah, I totally hear you. Yeah, because communication is key in this new era. So humans are trying to learn how to communicate in this very complex, multi-layer new way of living in this planet. With, you know, I like to see it as holonic even. So you see patterns, the same patterns inside each other. So, but yeah, so holacracy, in a sense, is a way to change this. So it's a proposal for a new way of communication. So you have agreements, you have ways to change the agreements, because that's the hardest part. When you join an organization and there is a boss, the boss comes with the agreements, and you have to either agree with that or leave. You know, if you don't like it, you usually you have nothing to do. You have to be subject to that, you know. But in in holacracy organization, you have ways to make proposals, and there is a way to deal with these proposals in an ordered way, so that's not chaotic. Everyone is doing whatever they want, but there is a way for listening to everyone's voice in an ordered way. So the agreements can change. So I think we as humans, we need to evolve into new patterns of communication that allows to create listening spaces, so secure spaces where we can, you know, have ways to hear proposals from everyone and change the agreements, so they're not set in stones. Because as you said, most CEOs they are problem solvers, right? They are, you know, just trying to solve a problem and maybe make a living out of it. But then what about the people that are left out of the equation that the CEO created? So maybe he's creating harm in some levels, and if there is no clear pathway to listen to the other parties, how do you actually behave as a planet if you don't solve these issues? So this is, yeah, there is a lot of work in order to change our communication patterns in different ones that allow us to react and to listen each other, because most of the times we don't even listen. We just, you know, bring our problems, and there's no safe space to deal with them. So thank you for bringing this in. Yeah, I think we are starting to have some possibilities, some lights at the end of the tunnels on these scenarios, but there's definitely a lot of work. Cool. So if there is no other
I'm curious to hear if Adam and Robin maybe have experiences with DAO and holacracy, and what are the challenges they faced, if so, or self-organized in general. What are the main challenges you guys face?
It's super exciting conversation there, and also resonate a lot with what you just shared, Christopher, and also Julio. And I think my main question is, like I'm a tech savvy person. I've always been interested in tech. I'm super excited about the potential of Web3. I'm pretty new to Web3. I'm super good with Web2 tools, Asana, like collaboration tools. But in my experience, the main challenge I have when it comes to the potential of communication, organization, networks, etc., is not necessarily the tools. Like the tools are there. It's like having you can have the best, what do you call it? Like the spike gun when you build houses. You can have like, this is an amazing spike gun. It's going to make us work 10 times faster. And people are like, yeah, I'm just going to use my stone and just hammer the nails in. And like, what's your experience with kind of like some insights in terms of how to onboard, how to explain, how to like show people the way into tech? Because that's my real challenge. It's kind of like, I'm like, I have the gospel, it's here, it's amazing tools, but people are like, good for you. And I'm like, all right, where do we start here? Where to begin? And also like, depending on like, we have a lot of complex challenges in the world. In my perspective, we need to apply tools and practices and process fast in terms of like actually use the potential. But it's hard. Do you have any thoughts around that? That's a big question, but from your experience.
I have because I'm actually an actress and I got involved with tech little ago, like a few years. And I'm very passionate about doing this bridge and explaining. And especially Web3, most of people have no idea what a DAO is or what Web3 is. And even a lot of, I think we have more tools than people willing to step up and understanding how it is. Some often is very overwhelming, and especially if you have big chunks of information. So what I try to do is to have like very fun and short ways of people getting engaged, just like explaining bit by bit, so it's not very overwhelming to people. Like I was working in a cryptocurrency, and many people freaked out only to hear cryptocurrency. It's like, oh no, I cannot deal with that. I don't know what that is. It's dangerous. So I don't know. I'm not able to deal with that. It is like a monster, you know. So I don't know why, but I got very passionate in the last years to really bridging this gap, because I think it's so much opportunity once we have all these tools that people that know about tech, which is not me, can build up. You know, there's so many things, but then we need people to use. Otherwise, it's nonsense, you know. And even in social media and things like that, we see that if people are engaged, it's the big stuff. But once people decided to step out, the thing like fail because there's pointless, right? So, and also I think like we have so advanced in tech, and we need to advance as human. And also like Christopher is saying, we're not used to communicate. We don't know how to do this. And we need these safe spaces and maybe smaller spaces to have deeper conversations and understand how we can and build this gap together, bridge this gap together.
There's like full transparency. I work for a company and they kind of integrate different systems via API and webhooks. And the general idea is that part of the issue with all these tools and software and this onboarding process is that it's just so much, and people are, it's a lot to take in, and then they get tired, fatigued, etc. So there's this idea brewing of wherever people feel comfortable working, let them work there. Say if someone's just comfortable in Slack, or someone likes Nestr, or whatever it may be, and then somehow that data then flows back in somewhere else, or the thing gets done. So you can still have these small conversations where people are comfortable on the tools that they're comfortable with, but then all the important data, decision-making, whatever it may be, because every tool is just kind of like a fancy spreadsheet. You pass those fields back and forth, but that's so much easier said than done, and we're not quite there, but I see it as just the beginning of maybe a new way of communicating where, I'm talking on Slack, this guy's actually talking in a Zoom, and then this guy's he's in the metaverse, and can we even collaborate somehow still? That'd be really great, because in some ways, maybe we're taking steps back by being on all these different tools and different environments. So I wonder, it's wild, especially in the DAO world. There's all these brand new tools. Everything's brand new processes. So it's interesting. Yeah, onboarding. Yeah.
Onboarding is key, right? So how do we communicate? And I think that's the challenge for this next phase in human evolution, right? The Homo communicator, or something like that. So yeah, so I would like to propose a break because we already took like this time slot, and to also allow other people to bring their other topics. And if you also want to continue talking about Nestr, I invite you to join our event again. That's happening on the November 25th. And there's going to be a Discord server opening really soon with where you can talk more about Nestr and go hang out with other people using holacracy or trying to solve these complex issues of human communication. So thank you for your time, and yeah, let's stay in touch. The event is going to be very rich, and there will be very many opportunities for us to share. Thank you so much.